Oh, guess who's back? That's right, our boys over at the Doctor Who Dark Journey. AMAudiomedia.com is now been recently awarded 12 nominations to the Audioverse Awards. How awesome is that? So if you're a fan of their show, which you must be because you're a fan of our show, and we are a fan of their show, so I know that you know that you know that I know, you need to go there right now to audioverseawards.net, and you need to vote that Doctor Who Dark Journey is your favorite audio play. What are you doing? Go do it right now. The doctor requires you to.
Welcome to the Droids Canada podcast. On Facebook, on Twitter, on G+, and now Instagram. And the podcast starts now.
What the fuck is the internet?
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Toasty!
They're gonna feel pretty stupid when they find out. Find out what? They're fucking with the wrong people.
Alright, first ever podcast while driving home. Oh shit! Debris! Wow.
Looks like a fucking homeless
Someone
guy.
got thrown out tonight.
There's like two fours, 2 boxes of fucking party trays of pizzas.
How do you get thrown out at a movie theater? So this is your favorite podcast host, Todd's here, and also the MountainMan. That was a lot to take in, sir.
I think I may be scarred.
Well, today's movie, it was a last-second decision, but the movie was based off of a coin toss.
It was between Interstellar and Fury. Fury won.
Fury did win.
In many, many ways.
I went into this movie very skeptical, as most Brad Pitt films are. You're thinking it's the typical pretty boy film. Negative on that play.
It's dark.
Dark? If you could name 3 things that... Like, what are 3 things that you could describe this movie with?
Gore. Rhino would be happy.
Oh, God. There is so much murder. So much delicious murder. Long story short, the film takes place during World War II.
1945?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think they quoted April 1945.
And Brad Pitt is a sergeant who currently runs the tank Fury. He has a couple additional people, which are surprised. Is it just me, or did you look like Shia LaBeouf really aged?
It looked, well, the mustache helped.
The mustache?
At first I was like, is that fucking Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's gotta be him. And you got Shane from The Walking Dead.
Oh, John Barenthal and his fucking... What is with that hair? Like, it wasn't even... It was like, I'm shaving it somewhat crooked.
Bad bowl cut.
Bad, worst bowl cut ever. If there was ever an Emmy for worst bowl cut, he won it. The main character, Norman, seems so familiar, and I just couldn't
place him either.
It was just bothering me. And then also you have Gordo, who was in a bunch of different films. He normally plays like an Indian, though, but apparently this time he's Spanish. So, he was in, I think, the movie Wind Talkers as well, which was another World War II film. I just can't really place...
I couldn't place Gordo, no.
No, but it's always funny, because I know for a fact he plays an Indian a lot, and now he's Spanish, which was funny. So, more or less, the campaign bases around the tank called Fury. We also got to see a couple of familiar faces. We got to see a guy from True Blood.
The one who played Hoyt.
And what was the name of his tank? Murder Incorporated.
Murder Inc. And I think the other one that was out of there was like Lucy or something. Lucille, yeah.
This is the first time I think they ever really focused on tank combat. That comes to recent memory, anyways.
That I can think of any of the war flicks I've seen.
Now, the first thing that came to mind, and this is going to sound really cheesy, and you can yell at me for it, I don't care. It reminded me a lot of Star Wars when they did the gun battles. Was I alone on that?
No, you weren't. It was very, the CGI in it was, definitely overdone.
Overdone, very bright. Especially when they kill tanks. It's like, oh my god, you killed a tank, here's some fireworks!
Yeah. that first scene when they're driving down the road and they're popping up a couple of the tanks on the side of the road.
Yeah.
The fireworks that ensued.
Oh my god. But you know, what I really enjoyed about this film is that they really showed off what tank combat was like. I think one scene that stands out when they took on that giant ass mammoth tank.
Yeah.
And it just ripped apart that platoon of tanks like it was nothing.
Well, yeah, it was the one in German heavy tank against 4 light American tanks.
Oh my god.
And there's that little blurb in the beginning about the Americans being outgunned and out-armored in their tanks, and they were.
Absolutely.
It came down to tactics, and that's what they really showed off.
And that film really shows how vicious those tanks were. Like, it took out, what, 4 tanks?
Yeah.
And it just ripped them apart. Absolutely ripped them apart. They had to put a fucking round up its ass. Really.
2 of them.
But just to step back to Shia LaBeouf, he played this really interesting religious character. And then died horribly. Oh.
Well, that final scene was just,
It kind of went to the feels there. Oh. But here's the question. Was John Barathol a douchebag? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Like, I think that he's so typecast. It doesn't matter what he does. It's like, okay, you're a Nazi. Okay, you're a douchebag. Got it. Got it down pat.
I'm surprised he wasn't rubbing his head.
Oh my god.
I was waiting for it.
He was such a douche. Like, it was bothering me so much on how much of a douchebag he was. If he started rubbing his head, that would have been like, done, and I would have got up and left. That would have been too much for me. Brad Pitt did not play a typical Brad Pitt role, I don't think.
No, far from it.
I think that he played more of a stone cold individual. Normally he plays like a passionate or some type of like badass. I don't think he was much as a badass. I think it was just more of a person that just accepted this is the way of war. We need to get shit done. I think that's
this is your mission. Go get it done. You know, the tank is your home.
Pretty much. I think overall, when I was just watching that film, there was a lot of good scenes where you're like, oh. The first initial battle with the tank when the Nazis were down in the little trenches there wasn't even fair. Was not even fair. Blow them out with the cannon. That doesn't work. Just drive over them. It's okay. They don't mind.
No, they don't mind.
A little squish. It's okay. They don't have souls, right? They were Nazis. What else stand out to you to this film, though? What's your favorite part, I think?
I think it was just the inventive ways of people dying. You know, gunfire is one thing, but when you take, a tank mortar shell off the face and literally just like rip the entire top half of the torso off.
Wasn't even fair.
Yeah, Hoyt didn't like that very much.
No. Oh God. Where's Jessica to save him that time? Not available.
No.
That was a horrible, horrible death. But I guess that was the worst death. But the second worst death to me did happen to douchebag Shane. The Panzerfaust to the chest.
Yeah.
Through the tank wall.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a horrible fucking death. But mind you, I was kind of relieved that he did die, because if he somehow survived this film, I don't know what I would have been able to do with myself. It would have bothered me that much. Brad Pitt, though, did have the typical courageous ending death, though.
Yeah. At that point,
sniper rounds.
Yeah, he took what? Three sniper hits?
Yep.
Well, he took the one in the arm first.
Yep.
And then they popped back in the tank. He got patched up. Popped out for the 50 cal, and during the last stand took 3 hits from a sniper.
That was pretty intense. What I'd like to know is how he survived those 2 grenades. Like, I mean, let's think about that. They landed at his feet. They went off. He was still intact.
Yeah.
Is there something I don't know about grenades?
No, it's the...
Should he not have been pasted to the wall?
Not necessarily. Like, old school grenades are one thing. It was I think more the Germans, the sticks that he used to throw, I think they were more concussion-based than shrapnel.
Okay. I guess that makes a little bit more sense now, because it did sound more concussion-based when they did go off.
Yeah.
They just, to me, when I remember playing, this is really stupid to use gamer facts, but those specific grenades I remember using multiple times in like Wolfenstein and Call of Duty. They normally go boom and then people miss legs. Legs get torn apart.
I don't remember them.
Remember the guy got his leg fucking torn off by the 50 cal and the guy's waiting from the basement? That fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But I have to applaud the Nazi battalion that was in that house that first took a cannon round and still survived. But then they didn't survive after that. They died all horribly. I think this really illustrates how really nasty the Nazis were. There was a very intense scene where they were hanging children, proving the point because they would not join the war. And then whoever did join were all hiding in a house anyways. Life was good until children survived. But then Norman's new girlfriend, who never spoke a word of English ever, died. How sad.
Very sad.
Did that tear you apart?
Not really.
Did the beard shed a tear?
No.
Oh, no, that's
no tears were shed during this movie.
Yes, because I would have cured cancer. We wouldn't want to do that.
No.
So, overall, what would you give you? What would the score be for this movie for you?
I don't know. I'm not a big war movie person.
Yeah.
I never have been. I've seen my share.
Yeah.
It's one of the better ones that I've seen.
Right.
I don't know. It's the story was good. You know, the development just from start to finish, and especially the development of Norman.
Yes.
Throughout the movie, I thought was fantastic. You know,
going from a what? What was he again? A journalist.
A desk clerk. Desk clerk that types 60 words a minute to being
an assistant tank operator.
You know, front tank gunner. You know, on the rotary up front.
Yeah.
Wouldn't kill anybody, and then all of a sudden he's sitting there and he's just lacing into them. Fuck you, Nazis! You know. On multiple occasions, you know, complete turnaround. And at that point, you know, he's the first one during that last stand to stick up and stick around when Pitt basically told everyone, go. I'm making my last stand. You guys go, you know, hide out.
Pretty much.
And then he turns around. He's like, nope, I'm staying.
He basically found his balls.
Yeah.
I think this was a good film. I think you couldn't have put anyone else in the role that Brad Pitt took. I think that he kind of suited it. I think he gained a lot of respect when he did The Bastards because he played a different role, and he kind of played a similar character in this kind of movie. So I don't think Fury would have been as successful if it was not Pitt. But overall, I'm going to look at this film. This film is a 7 out of 10. It was a very solid film. It could have been a lot better, but I mean, even with the Star Wars special effects, there was a lot of killing. At the end of the movie, they were doing like a top shot of the tank, and they were just zooming out, and you just like bodies, just piles of bodies that they knocked down. How many do you think there was in that battalion?
Well, when Norman came back, he said there was 200 to 300, which would have been pretty typical at that point, and they'd taken out at least over half.
For sure.
Easily.
That's being polite. You gotta keep in mind the tank shots they did.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The grenades. There's all the trenches that was all the way around them and everything. They didn't really see.
They've done quite a bit of damage to that battalion, which obviously at that point turned the tide of the war because of the crossroads.
That's right.
Yeah, I would put it, definitely a solid 7, you know, possibly even a 7.5.
Oh, geez. See, I think overall, this is not a film that I would own, but I mean, I don't regret going to see it at the theater.
No, I don't either.
I think this film was very strong. There was a couple scenes a little bit drawn out, like the scene where they were sitting there in Emma's house, and it was the guy being all pissy and shit like little children. I was like, okay, I could have lived without this. But I mean, is it the end of the world? No, they're just trying to establish the human connection.
Right.
So you should just add more killing, is what I would say.
Well, it was followed shortly thereafter by killing, so you're okay.
I think the biggest upset kill was Shia LaBeouf's character. He just, wow. Bullet right through the back of the head and out through the eye.
Yeah.
Well, at least he didn't see it coming.
That's true.
And with that said, that is our quick review on the way home. Oh, not too bad, a 14-minute review. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Well, we didn't get sidetracked like we know.
We never got sidetracked. But if Jennifer Aniston ever told me to poop on her chest, I will do it.
I bet you will.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Thanks for listening to the Droids You Are Looking For podcast. Stay tuned for next week's podcast.
Remember, the Force will be with you always.